Kung Fu Panda is a timeless masterpiece, and by all accounts, it deserves that praise. But why? There's a plethora of reasons, but today I want to speak on character and the one flaw the movie has, the one problem, the one mistake. The story, no matter what anyone else says, is character driven. Its theme, its premise, its conflict, its importance, its essence lies heavily on character. Yeah, the fight scenes and the visuals are part of it, but you'd find the character is not far off.
What I ever did, I did to make you proud. Tell me how proud you are, Shifu. Tell me. Tell me!
In fact, before rewatching the movie, in my mind, Poe was this annoying idea that some people are special while others are not. A person who treats everything as a joke with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Yes, I'm a Talang fan, but now that I'm wiser, I actually understand his character, and that's largely thanks to the great characterization. So, what is it about the characters that makes the story so fantastic? Is it their relatability and humanity, or is it that they all have different motivations and goals? Or maybe is it the character growth and change, consistency, vulnerability, complexity? What? What specifically about the characters that makes them so amazing? And the answer is yes. It's how all of these blend so perfectly well. A Kung Fu fanboy who dreams of being better. Kids who just want to make their father figure proud. A man seeking to make someone great. A mentor carrying wisdom and guiding others. And a loving father. And along with that, their own interests and flaws, like being unfit, being narrow-minded, and not being strong enough. These characters feel like actual people. And let's not even talk about the amazing dialogue. It's just so perfect. Now, all these components work in conjunction with each other to form a well-oiled machine. I thought this movie was just perfect with no flaws whatsoever. That's what I thought, until I saw this scene.
The Panda.
Master, please, let us stop Tai Lung. This is what you've trained us for.
No, it is not your destiny to defeat Tai Lung. It is his. But now I ask you to trust in your master as I have come to trust in mine.
You're not my master. And I'm not the Dragon Warrior.
Then why didn't you quit? You knew I was trying to get rid of you, yet you stayed.
Now, something initially felt off here, and then I realized that the story has a huge confliction. On one hand, there's this idea that no matter who you are, where you come from, or what you look like, if you believe and work towards something that you want, then you will eventually have it, and that is your destiny. And there's this huge emphasis on change. But then on the other hand, why does it seem like that destiny is only reserved for only special individuals and not just anyone, as they said, like the Five and especially Tigress? But I wish to speak about Tai Lung. Tai Lung, similar to Poe, wanted to be the Dragon Warrior, or better yet, he wanted to make his father figure proud by achieving that. So where was his chance? Was his so-called destiny to be defeated by the Dragon Warrior a stepping stone of sorts? Why does the movie have this idea that just about anyone can become something great? That is, unless you're someone special. Isn't this just a mistake and a contradiction, a flaw of sorts? I thought for a second and I realized that the apparent flaw in this idea is really just the fault of the characters. Because think about how everyone portrays and approaches Tai Lung, as opposed to the story. The Furious Five describe him as this black sheep older brother that no one talks about, like Bruno. Shifu, on the other hand, has this traumatic image of Tai Lung at first. Oogway, ironically enough though, doesn't believe in good and evil. But wasn't that the supposed reason he stopped Tai Lung? And at almost every instance in the movie, Tai Lung's intentions are always assumed by others. When he escapes, Shifu says,
But who will stop Tai Lung?
He'll destroy everything and everyone.
No. Evacuate the valley. You must protect the villagers from Tai Lung's rage.
And the Furious Five think this way as well. And when he only paralyzes them, Shifu says,
He could have killed you.
Why didn't he?
So you could come back here and strike fear into our hearts, but it won't work.
And this happens all the time. His intentions are assumed and they assume the worst of him. That image they have painted of him is negative, as opposed to how the movie itself portrays Tai Lung. It's almost a complete contrast. Sure, the truth is somewhere in the middle. And keep this in mind for later, okay? Because when he laid waste to the valley, we didn't see him hurt anyone. In fact, there was no apparent act of evil that justifies this level of security. His actions, juvenile at the very least. Heck, he doesn't even hurt Zhang when he escapes. And it's important to note that up until he spoke to Shifu, his motivations and actions wouldn't seem so bad, if not for the other characters painting him in a bad light. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. They saw him in a negative way because of his actions, and Shifu even gave him a chance. But what motivated those actions? And Shifu only gave him a chance after he lost. The first words Tai Lang said to Shifu after more than 20 years of being locked up were,
I have come home, master. This is no longer your home, and I am no longer your master.
Yes, you have a new favorite. So where is this Poe? Did I scare him off?
This battle is between you and me.
and then Shifu rejected him, disowned him, and challenged him to a fight, all in the same breath. Tai Lang though obliges and they start fighting, going back and forth. Tai Lang pulls his heart out and blames Shifu for what happened to him. Shifu though rejects the blame.
You were not meant to be the Dragon Warrior. That was not my fault.
Not your fault?
It was never my decision to make.
And angered, Tai Lang offers him a second chance.
It is now.
But Shifu rejects, and that right there, remember that for later. They fight and Shifu loses, and it's only then that he takes a passive stance and tries to make amends.
I'm sorry.
But Tai Lang ultimately rejects him and just wants the scroll, which, mind you, isn't what he wanted initially. Poe comes along and they fight, and Poe reveals the secret behind the scroll, but Tai Lang rejects it and opts to fight and ultimately loses. But I don't fault him. Try spending 20 years potentially being unable to move and or eat. And I remember Greg Owen saying that the reason why Tai Lang and Poe have different outcomes, despite both of their stories being so similar, is because of their theme, the weight of expectations, and how everyone else relates to it. Shifu expects being the trainer and the master of the Dragon Warrior to give him some sort of glory or pride. But when his expectations aren't met, he turns away from his son, giving us a vengeful Tai Lang. And because of that, Tigers and the others expect to make their master proud in a similar fashion, but even when their expectations aren't met, they get sidelined and take a terrible beating from Tai Lang. And Tai Lang expects being the Dragon Warrior to finally give him Shifu's validation, but when that expectation isn't met as well, he gets rejected and locked up. Seriously, this prison was insane. And Greg explains that the answer to this is self-validation, believing in yourself that you are enough. And to prove this, Poe's father wants him, or rather expects his son to inherit the shop and stop with the kung fu nonsense. But when his expectations aren't met, he instead accepts it and is content and is happy for his son. And Poe, similarly, expects to be this strong warrior, but when he realizes that his journey will be different from others, or that there's no secret formula, he instead doesn't lash out and is content with that, which is a stark contrast to Tai Lang, and that's the answer to the theme. The idea that it's not about the final destination, but the journey that truly counts. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like that shit. The journey is important, yes, but I'll be damned if I don't get to where I want to go. Otherwise, what's the point of all this struggling for, huh? And also, if the journey is the answer and the destination, then doesn't that just mean that the journey itself also isn't the journey, but a destination? And all this, just for character? Nah. And also, notice how that notion only works when you have someone who believes in you, when the world is on your side and people believe in you. If the world saw you as a villain, that working hard shit won't cut it. And don't get me wrong, the movie is right. Everyone can do with a bit of self-validation. Sukuna said this whole idea of needing someone to be satisfied is weird, and I completely agree with him. But external factors do play a role as well. Cause when Poe stopped believing in himself and it seemed like he was gonna fall into the negative side of this theme, Shifu was there to pick him up and help him. But when Tai Lang did the exact same thing and tried picking himself up, he was met with a different outcome. So self-validation isn't necessarily the answer, at least not on its own, and that's the issue. But I guess that's the whole point of the whole movie. People are flawed and stuff. And I didn't even talk about the other factors that made this movie so great. This movie is and always will be a 10 out of 10 in my eyes. That is followed by the third movie and the second one, and that's it, I don't watch trash. This movie is requested and thanks to Ritash. Honestly, up until now, I think he or she is my first true sub. But that means I'm finally doing something right? Anyway, let me know what video you want to see next, and anyway, that's all folks. Do I have to say that?
Do you have to say that? Legally?